So BMW's goal is for the new X5 to be the most complete SUV that you can buy. In fact, this car is not even called an SUV, it's called an SAV, Sport Activity Vehicle. Well, let's keep all the marketing jargon aside and get down to the facts. The fact is the X5 is a seriously good car. And when it was launched 20 years ago, it changed the game of the SUV market completely. It brought sportiness and performance to the SUV segment. And well, with this new fourth generation of the BMW X5, BMW hopes to reclaim the throne of being the best SUV. But to do that, it's got to beat this, the Audi Q7. Now, the Audi Q7 has been one of the best luxury SUVs for some time now. This is the second generation that we've got. In fact, this car is about 3 years old, and the latest update was about a few months earlier this year when they brought in the Lifestyle Edition. Still though, this car has got some old technology compared to the new X5, but still it's packed with all the features you would want in a luxury SUV. Anyone who's looking to buy a luxury SUV obviously wants the best quality, the best comfort, and of course the best new technologies. So as you would expect, the Q7 comes with all the features that you would want in a luxury SUV. It's got air suspension, everything's electronically adjustable inside, it's got LED lights, all the safety technology as well. But what makes this car really special then? Well, for one, the Audi Q7 comes with the Quattro full-time all-wheel drive system, and that does wonders for the car. But still, this car is very comfortable to drive. The air suspension works so well in this car. It just rides almost like a boat, like a yacht. It's so smooth. Then of course you have Audi Drive Select, and there are multiple driving modes you can choose from. And even though this is a luxury SUV, the Q7 still has a lift off-road driving mode, and that actually raises the car up to its highest capacity, so you have a great ground clearance. Then of course you've also got an all-road feature, you've got comfort, you've got auto, dynamic, and of course it comes with individual, so you can set up the engine and gearbox to whatever setting you like, the air suspension and the steering. So if you don't like any of those modes and you want to toggle between a few of them, you can do that. But what really shines in the Q7 has to be the engineering. Now this engine is a 3-liter turbo 6-cylinder engine, and it is beautiful. And it gets about 250 brake horsepower with 600 Nm of torque. That is plenty of power for you to move this massive 2-ton SUV around. But the refinement levels are just phenomenal. Even though this is a 3-year-old vehicle, it still drives like it's brand new. I mean, any surface you're on, especially on the highway, I have to say this car feels so well refined, and which adds to the comfort and luxury quotient, because when you're driving in this car, you feel so relaxed and comfortable. Even though it's got a lot of power and torque, it doesn't feel like it's going so fast because it's very quiet in the cabin, and the engine noise is drowned out by the opulence of this beautiful, beautiful setting. And even though the throttle response is quick and the car picks up speed very well, you just don't feel like it's a fast car. But this car doesn't want to be that. This car wants to be a luxurious, smooth operating, absolutely brilliant riding SUV. And that's why the Q7 is such a phenomenal machine, because it can do almost anything you want it to do, and it can do it so nicely, so smoothly, so effortlessly. Now, because of all of this, if the Q7 is still the king of the luxury SUV segment, the X5 needs to have something really extra special. Well, the car's just been launched, and this car's 3 years old. So what edge does the X5 have over the Q7? So let's just start with the key of the BMW X5. Now this key here looks very futuristic, and if you look at this, it almost seems like this car would win any comparison we make with the Audi Q7. Well, that's because this is almost like a smartphone. It's got a touchpad, you can swipe up and activate it, and you can swipe left and right to see a lot of the control systems, and you can even monitor what's happening with your vehicle. Now that's pretty futuristic if you ask me. And when you finally get inside the XV, you can tell that this car is dramatically changed. There's been so much new done to this vehicle. First of all, it's bigger and the cabin space has been improved. But besides that, the quality and the improvements of this cabin are fantastic. The dash layout is very nice. It's driver focused. Everything is facing towards the driver. I love the detailing, and this wood veneer looks absolutely beautiful. It's got nice crystal on the gear lever and on the toggle switch as well. So it's got that very classy, luxurious tone set inside here. The BMW X5 is always meant to be a sporty SUV that can do almost anything. And that's because it drives more like a sedan than an SUV. And that's how this car changed the entire game. Well, the car here today gets the same engine as the Q7. It's a 3-liter V6 diesel turbo. This engine gets more power though. It gets about 265 brake horsepower and 620 Newton meters of torque. But still though, this engine feels a lot more responsive. There are of course different driving modes, and you can select how you want the car to perform. The steering is much more responsive. I like the way it's weighted. It feels just right. It even feels better on your hands the way it's designed. I love the way it drives. I love the way the engine responds. And in sport mode, the throttle is instantaneous, and I can just press down and get as much as I want from the engine. The steering feels super good, and it's very instinctive towards my driving style, so I love the way it performs. And I have to say the chassis of the X5 is just fantastic. Now this new engine has become much more refined than the previous generation X5. This one feels very smooth, and the ride quality is fantastic. And now also for the first time, the X5 gets air suspension. And it doesn't just get it at the rear, it gets it at the front as well. Now again, the overall driving dynamics of the X5, they far exceed the Q7 in terms of responsiveness, in terms of agility, and in terms of the power. Everything comes into play much nicer, and you really get to feel everything about this car that's working in your favor, especially when you want to throw it around in twisty sections. It handles so nice. Even though this car is heavy, it handles really well, much better than the Q7. So overall, I think this car is a much better driver's car, and that's how BMW has always been since the inception of the X5. Now, coming to the features of this car, there are so many features. Of course, you have gesture control, so I can control the volume here with just the movement of my hands. And it's got voice control, it's got wireless phone charging, and it's got a bunch of other safety features that work really well, such as the cornering ABS. And then of course it's got this very nice parking assist system. So in all honesty, anyone looking to buy any of these cars is most probably not going to be in the driver's seat. In fact, they're going to be chauffeured around, and they're going to be sitting nice and comfortably back in the rear seats. Well, in that department, I have to say the Audi Q7 really does excel. It's a very comfortable car, so much room, plenty of leg room, plenty of headroom, and you sit very nicely and comfortably. The seats are very nice, and you've got your AC vents back here, you've got a nice sunroof. Overall, it's a very roomy car, and the quality levels are fantastic. Now, when you get into the X5, the story changes just a little bit. The new X5 is a little bit bigger, of course, but when it comes to interior space and comfort, it just doesn't add up to the Q7. Sure, it's nice in here, it's got a lot of headroom, you've got the nice sunroof, and you got the AC vents as well with storage compartments, but the seat just is not as nice as the Q7. Overall, the quality also does seem a little bit better in the Q7, but still, the BMW X5 is more of a driver-focused car, but still, even if you're going to be in the backseat of this car, it doesn't fare well compared to the Q7. Now, both these cars are fantastic in their own right. They are some of the best luxury SUVs you can buy. The BMW, though, has the advantage that it was just launched last year globally. In India, it was just launched 2 months ago. But the car is fantastic. It's been improved significantly over the previous model, and it can do so much. The Q7, though, is still a little bit more refined. It has better quality, and it's much more comfortable on the inside. Still, though, the Q7 is going to get an update very soon, and Mercedes-Benz is going to bring the GLE next year as well. So competition is heating up, and you can expect the same amazing technology featured in this car coming up in those SUVs as well. But if you're looking to get your hands on one car right now, in my opinion, the X5 is a much better driver's car. But if you want to sit down, relax, and enjoy the ride, the Q7 still reigns supreme.